Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna continue with the list sorting problem, but we're gonna do it using point positions, and we're gonna learn one way we can use this kind of concept. Okay, let's go to compositing, spreadsheet. What I'm gonna do real quick is to generate random points. So I'll use random vector file, save as spreadsheet sort distance, and then I'm gonna use the viewer draw. Oh, actually, viewer draw. And currently we have only like one random point. If you want more, you can have more. Let's have 100. We can scale it. Okay, so you can see this points being scattered in a spherical kind of way. You can randomize it further if you use a randomized input vertices, and just give it some more randomization. So that's kind of give you like a clump of random points. Okay, we have 100 points, and then let's check the indices number. Okay, because we care about the order of the points being generated. If I turn on this index number, we can see the point number. Now if you look at this and then try to find the first points, that's 0. 0 is the first point, and then 1, and then if you try to connect the dots, yeah, you you can do that by using actually UV connections. Plug that in, edges, and you have this connect the dots thing going on. But what we want to do here is to find a way to do the sorting of this number. Let's say we want to sort it based on the distance. We can do that real quick by using list sort. Okay, list sort node, and then we need to provide the keys, and the key is gonna be the distance. So we have learned in the previous live noding we can do that as long as we provide these key values. So okay, list sorting, and then we need the distance. First of all, we need to have a distance, and we need to have like reference objects. I'm gonna use this empty objects. So we have empty in the 3D, and I want to kind of monitor this the position of this empty using spreadsheet. So I'm going to use objects in and get selection, get the empty, and then I'm gonna get the transform of this object. We need matrix out, and stethoscope. We can have the location. Now if you play back, you can see the value is being updated on the fly wherever the locator is. Spreadsheet will monitor it and then spit it out here. So we have these locations. Now I want to compare the distance of these locations with all these random vertices. So for that, I'm gonna use distance node. So this guy, vertices, the locations, and then this guy, and then check the data, distance data. By default we only have like a single value, probably only comparing the first one. We need to turn on crossover. Now we have all this bunch of values that's comparing the one point position of this locator of this empty with all this random position of points. So with that we have the distance value that we can put in as a key, and then the data comes from this guy, and then now our list is sorted based on the position of this empty. You can see whichever whichever points closest to the empty, it's gonna be 0 because it's the first point. 0, 1, and then 2 and 3. It's comparing it on the fly. So this is very useful, definitely. And no matter where the position is, it's gonna update it on the fly. Very, very cool. Now we can actually, let's say, we can use this into UV connections, and you can see now the connected dots is based on the position of the empty. See, that's the first one, 0, 1, and then 2, and then 3, and so on. It's gonna update on the fly. So this is how you can use this. One of the example, very, very simple, but I guess it can be useful depending on what you're doing. If I hide the index number, we can, for example, make the line kind of growing. Let's say list split, and here we can split the list data. Actually, not here. I'm gonna grab it. Quickly cut it. I have to stop the playback first. Just now I have the playback running because I need to update, force update Spreadshock when the empty is changing. If I plug that in there and then plug in there, we should technically being able to split the data. Actually, not split. Actually, what I want is the slice. Please slice. So the sorted points plug into this guy, and now we can. I need to change the level just now, level 1, and then we can kind of tell. Okay, from the first dots, first point, and then second, third, and then continue, and so on until it's continue to grow far away from the empty. This is actually, like I said, it's real time, so that can be useful. This is not like it's not like in Google Map where you find the closest distance yet. It's just for that you need some kind of algorithm. It's possible. It's not very easy, but it's possible. Like if you have like all kind of paths, which one is the closest from here to there? If the path is already, you know, if you have like a multiple path, and then which one is the closest? Probably this guy, right? You need some kind of algorithm for that. Sometimes the path is not already being created, so it needs to find its own way to that point. Blender has actually algorithm that does it, but in the Blender game engine. This kind of recipe algorithm is, I think it's continuously being developed. I think Google has one of the fastest. I don't know. I assume they have the fastest way to find the closest path from one point to another point. You can kind of simulate that using Spreadshock as well. You might need some Python and need to code it. You can probably do that using Node as well, but coding it, algorithm like that, like a recipe that's slightly more complicated like that, sometimes it's better, you know, you look around, you Google for one example using Python, and then you try to implement that in Blender, maybe in Spreadshock add-on, using Spreadshock add-on. I think that kind of algorithm is super cool. You definitely can do that as well. Well, anyway, that's pretty much it for this list sorting and based on the distance. It's super simple, but should be useful if you are still just learning about Spreadshock. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next live noding video. Thanks again for tuning in. Any questions, suggestion, feedback, let me know. Thank you. I'll see you on the